Well, I think the Chargers, and Sean was just saying this, kept everything in front of them against the Raiders. What's the challenge of being patient when you go against a defense like that that's not going to try not to give you those shots deep?
Well, they play a lot of zone. They keep things in front of them, and they just kind of rely on their D-line to get some pressure. And they do a good job with what they do, and they don't give up a lot of explosives. So we just got to find a way to execute and find some explosives.
Well, what did you like after looking at the film that y'all did well? I know I asked you right after the game, but that reaffirmed your thoughts.
Well, we did some really good things, especially early. We scored points in the red zone. I think that was the biggest takeaway is when we got down there, we scored touchdowns instead of having to kick field goals. So that's exciting. That's something we can build on and grow. I thought our red zone plan was really good. And so we'll continue to find ways to do that. And then, just in the fourth quarter, we got to find a way to get another touchdown. We had a couple chances to put the game away, and we didn't. So that's what we got to get better at.
Well, Sean was saying that the interaction you guys had on the sideline wasn't what it seemed. It was just a reaffirmation of things. What would happen on that situation?
Well, I think for whatever reason, we're allowing conversations to become bigger than what they are. We oftentimes forget that it's a big stadium and a lot of people are talking at the same time, so you got to be a little bit louder and more vocal. So that was just something as simple as he asked me what happened on a play. I told him. I turned. He couldn't quite hear. Turned back and told him again. There was no issue. So, it's just a quick conversation with the head coach. Nothing pressing.
Bo, everybody always says you're your toughest critic. What's kind of an example, you're coming off of defeat of how you self-critique yourself, after a loss, and maybe you did have one turnover or what have you?
Well, there's plenty of good plays, but I think a focus on the ones that didn't go our way, because that's how you learn and get better and find ways to improve.
Well, it seems that you've been able in the first two games to really spread the wealth amongst all of your targets. What does that do for you when you have faith in each one of those guys and you can go through a progression and be able to just lock in on one guy?
Well, it's great, but it just I think it points to all of them that they're available. They're out there getting open and making plays, and we do a good job of having guys not be always the primary. I mean, there's all sorts of guys that could get the ball, so that's a good part of our offense. Is you can't really hone in on one guy. Obviously, Cortland gets a lot of the attention because he's been doing it for the longest, and we had a lot of success last year and early on this year. But that'll probably continue. So other guys will have to continue to get open, catch the ball like they've done. And I think you could see as the season goes, the ball continue to be spread like that.
You played a fair amount of football at this level, and certainly a lot in college. And all of you talked about close and that game. What's the biggest challenge of closing the game when you're up, or the key element to doing that in your mind?
I'd say the biggest challenge is the opposing team's a good football team. They also know that it's a critical possession and they can't get the game closed on them. So, you got to give credit to the Colts. They battled and kept it close enough to where they could, keep chipping away. And, what's frustrating is we never had that one drive to where we had to. We had several that we could have gone down and put the game away. But I think the biggest challenge, like I said, is the other team. When the other team's a good football team, it can sometimes be difficult.
When you're up, when you're ahead, what's the balance between being smart and being aggressive to bring the hammer down?
There's a fine line. When it's there, you got to hit it. So for me, I'm always going to be aggressive, especially with our defense, knowing that they can go out there and get a stop. But you can't play the game. You can't play the position soft. You got to go out there and be aggressive. And if you get gun shy, if you're scared to make a bad play, it's usually when the bad plays happen.
What's it like, Ben, rekindling that connection that you're having with Troy Franklin? Obviously worked out so well this past year.
Well, it's great. I think he's starting to develop into the player that everybody, ultimately knows he can become. I've mentioned he looks a little bit as comfortable and confident as he looked in college. I think that's starting to show. And I knew he always was going to have that in him. And, it's good to see him with the self-confidence to go out there and make those plays and continue to do it and play the whole game like he did. And I expect a lot not necessarily more because he did, a lot. So I expect just consistency from him, and I know he's going to give us everything he's got.
Well, it's your third time playing the Chargers this coming Sunday. With having so much experience against them, a similar defense at least from last year, what are the challenges and then the opportunities in that?
Well, the challenge is I think they do their stuff well. They know what they're in. They don't have a lot of busts. They keep everything in front of them, and they play off their strength of their D-line. They, just stop the run and then keep everything in front of them. And, that's a good balance when you can stop the run with, not always a loaded box, not having to put an extra safety down there and play single high. They can play a shell and still, stop the run. So that's the challenge. But I think just with their bucket of defense not being a whole lot, you can try to find some matchups and things like that. But it's going to be, everything we want. It's going to be a tough battle. We're going to have to play well in all three phases to get the job done. But we feel confident, especially after going there last year and not being able to finish. We want to go over there and start the same way we did, and this time just finish the football game.
What does the evolution of the running game look like? Obviously, you improved tremendously from week 1 to week 2. What's the next step in improvement in the running game?
Well, I guess do it again and, find the runs we like and, get them out there and block them up and run the ball well.
Yeah, sort of. Parker, building on that, some of your offensive linemen have talked about some of the outside zone stuff, and maybe, I don't know if you feel like there's more of that this year, but what do you like about that, and when the play action game when you can make it look the same, play action and run, how much of an advantage is that?
It's a big advantage. It's tough on the defense when, that's why play action and, nakeds and stuff work, because you're showing the run play and then you've already hit them on the run play, hopefully, and then they're expecting it. They're trying to get guys to the ball, and then you do something off of it. That's when it works, is when you can run the ball well. When your run game works, usually the play action and the stuff off the run game works. If not, they just kind of can stop it with a few players, and they can stay back and cover the pass as well. So I think running the ball kickstarts pretty much everything.